The British government has greater resources for tracking money around the world. It goes through the London banking system. London banks and finance houses and all kinds of offshore funds can be helped, brought in to help track this money down. The transactions must be recorded. And we should have helped Iceland in that way. I mean, Iceland is a comparatively small country and in a weak position to do that, but we are in a better position to do it, and we should have provided those services to Iceland. It wouldn't necessarily have found the money, but it could have helped Iceland. So until that tracking operation gets going, and it's going to be a bit difficult because of bank secrecy in a lot of these crown dependencies, British crown dependencies, which have a very secretive system of banking and don't publish who's got accounts there or where the money's gone or what the transactions are, that if we don't help them, Iceland is going to find it impossible to find the money again. Now, it's clearly, presumably, under the control of individuals from Iceland. It's presumably been sent to safe houses and tax havens around the world, and it's going to be a difficult job to put it all together again. But the Icelandic government is also responsible for its failure to regulate the banks. Now, that was compounded by Gordon Brown's grab at the assets and by the use of terrorist legislation. The motive of politicians is usually to avoid themselves being embarrassed. I think the invocation of the terrorist legislation was done prematurely, without being considered, and without sufficient thought. I thought, well, I think it's possible that there was a panic. They thought, oh, British people aren't going to be compensated. We must keep what money's here and stop it leaving the country. And it was a panic reaction, which was a bullying reaction, really, because this is a big country and Iceland is a smaller country. And you know, we shouldn't behave like that. We should have helped. I think it was just done on the spur of the moment in a panic, and they don't like to say that. It's got to be done by agreement. Iceland has an obligation to repay what it can repay, but it's got no obligation to break the Iceland economy or cripple a nation with debt in that process. We all want a prosperous Iceland. That means we've got to help it, trade with it, help it to repair the damage. It's always a mistake to demand enormous reparations, particularly since we have a part to play in the failure. Therefore, this has got to be settled over the years and not by one country saying, I'm not going to play the game, and another country saying, I'm going to bully you if you don't. That's not the way to do it. One wouldn't want to see a kind of debt recovery program which is going to damage education, the life and the prospects of the children, which is going to cut the standard of living, which is going to be a crippling burden on Iceland's production and exporting sector, which is the only way Iceland is going to raise the money to finance the debt. So, you know, it's going to be difficult to face these burdens, but they certainly mustn't be made crippling if they're going to damage the economy, because that way there's no prospect of repayment.